In episode 20 of I Know a Guy, I chop it up with Gastonia reliever Nick Horvath. The southpaw takes us through Horvath's path to a better half. Our guest today is from Jupiter, Florida, attended the University of Florida, drafted by the Baltimore Orioles in 2018, currently a relief pitcher for Gastonia. I know a guy, and his name is Nick Horvath. Nick, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. So, Nick, you were part of the University of Florida program. Was it an advantage playing in Florida in general because of the weather? You could play there all year long?
For sure. I mean, I think we could play year-round, and just the amount of talent you kind of go through, from a young age, just 9 to all the way up to 21. It's the same guys, and it's a bunch of good ball players.
How is it being a part of that prestigious program that is the University of Florida?
It was fun. I mean, there's a lot of good players, and honestly, a lot of my close friends, obviously, are still that I talk to are still, that went there and all that.
You were a national champ in 2017, first and only national championship in the University of Florida's history. Mm-hmm. What did it mean to bring a championship to Florida?
I honestly never even thought about it, like during all that. But, I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean, just kind of the group of guys and the experience is something that I'll never forget. They almost won it, I think, was it last year, 2023? So it was cool watching kind of them go through that, the process we kind of did as well.
Nick, you were a two-way player in college, a great defensive center fielder. How was that experience hitting and also pitching at the same time?
Different for sure. I mean, I wish I hit a little bit better. But yeah, it's just a good overall experience. I mean, there's different obstacles you kind of got to go through, hitting, pitching, and kind of differentiating what you're good at and, translating it, whether it's in the cage and kind of the work ethic and all that. But
did you have any preference while you were at Florida between pitching and hitting?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was scared, honestly, to be just like a pitcher only, like labeled like a pitcher only. So I kind of I was like, yo, if I can defend well, like they're not gonna make me a pitcher only, and my bat will hopefully just catch up. So that was kind of the process I kind of looked at. Like how I looked at it.
Now, there were games when you would pitch and then stay in the game as a center fielder. So how was that mentally? Because in terms of Ian McKinney, who was here earlier this season with Gastonia, there were games he would start and then he would quickly have to be the pitching coach. So is that kind of similar in terms of mentally you're pitching, all of a sudden you're thrown out there in center?
I didn't really think of it like that. I was just thinking, I was like, yo, I'm playing baseball. There wasn't really like much of a thought, a brain switch. Thought process switch, but I mean, I thought it was fun.
Now, you used to be a hitter, an outfielder in the Orioles system. Then you became a pitcher in the Los Angeles Angels organization. Was it that the O's saw you as an outfielder primarily and the Angels saw you as a pitcher?
Yeah, so actually, I think I got drafted, like when, your name pops up and it says like Nick Horvath drafted. I think it said left-handed pitcher, but it was like a agreement that I was going to hit and we're going to take that route first. And then in COVID, I got released. And after COVID, that was when I kind of put all my eggs in one basket and said, hey, I'm going to pitch. So there really wasn't a thought process of, hey, I was going to hit with the Angels or anything. I was fully a pitcher. I hadn't picked up a bat in probably a year or two at that point.
So when you reached Quebec in 2022, you transitioned to really only pitching and not hitting as well. Was that tough for you?
No, actually, I was like, honestly, in 21, the manager, Pat, was like, hey, we might need you to play the outfield and stuff like that. And I was like kind of reluctant because I was just like, I don't really want to put myself through that. I kind of changed my mindset. I'm all in on pitching. It was fun. I actually did play some games in the outfield, and it was fun kind of running around making some plays. I didn't really enjoy stepping in the batter's box off some good arms, but
pitching tougher now than it has ever been.
Yeah, it's not fun hitting off some of these guys and the way they're throwing, what they're throwing, how much it moves, and all that. But
Nick, you throw lefty, you bat righty. So what other things do you do right-handed versus left-handed?
I think I pretty much do everything right-handed. to be honest with you. I think right-handed, eat right-handed, kick right-handed. The only thing I do is throw left-handed, which is honestly kind of a blessing, but I don't know how I picked that up or where I got that from, to be honest.
Do you think it's a strength and advantage for you that you do pitch left-handed? Out of everything in the world, the one thing you do left-handed is pitch.
Yeah.
And there really is a need for left-handed pitching in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was everyone always told me, it was like, yo, you're left-handed, like keep pitching. And I never like thought about it as like I was just like, oh, I'm left-handed. You know what I'm saying? That and people still tell me you're left-handed. I'm like, and you're right-handed. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know what the difference is. I just keep running with it, I guess.
Nick, you throw 4 pitches, 4-seamer, slider, curveball, and change, mostly the 4-seamer and slider. Your fastball's at around 94 miles per hour. How useful is it to have that velocity, especially when you mix in the slider with sequencing?
Good, but I mean, you kind of see where the game's going now. Like, I mean, you need to throw hard. I don't know. I feel like it makes it a little easier when you throw hard. You don't have to be as perfect. Obviously, I'm trying to throw pitches in certain zones, and it makes honestly the slider that much better, because if I'm able to locate my fastball and throw my slider off that, it's the name of the game.
How often do you go into those at-bats with that game plan in terms of starting off with a heater, whether it's down the middle, on the corner, wherever, and then transitioning to a slider to see if they're out in front?
I think it's just kind of where we're at in the game, the hitter, kind of what success the hitters had off certain pitches, how I feel that day. There's a lot of different kind of factors that go into it, I think. But yeah, like I said, I just roll with those two and, give it my best.
Now, Nick, you started the season with Charleston before being traded to Gastonia. Got off to a rough start with the Dirty Birds, but this change of scenery has done wonders, to say the least, for you. What do you attribute that to?
I think, honestly, just getting around a group of guys that's similar to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, not in a bad way, more sense like where I was at in Charleston, but just like, I think when I got here, there was some familiar faces, Jake, Phoenix, Gabe, and, they had seen me pitch for Charleston, and it was just like figuring out what I did good and kind of running with that, to be honest.
You're one of the premier pitchers in the back end of the Gastonia bullpen. I talked to the TrackMan operator for Gastonia, so I'm going to go through a list of potential reasons for you pitching phenomenally with Gastonia after your rough start with Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
So is one of the reasons why the Gastonia defense is better than Charleston statistically?
I mean, I think when I kind of changed some of the usage in my pitches, I was able to get more ground balls. And I think, especially in the ballparks that are in this league, I was just getting a lot more fly balls, and you can't really defend against, homers and doubles. And so when I kind of changed my usage up, that produced more ground balls. And I think, like some of the infielders here, like Gatewood, Jack was here when I got here. Richie was probably the best shortstop I ever played with. Those guys, you give them a chance to make a play and they're going to make it.
Your 4-seamer has been a lot better, doesn't run in on you as much as a 2-seamer would. Mm-hmm. So have you noticed that change as well?
I've always kind of thought my 4-seam kind of had like that up and away kind of run, late life to it. I hadn't really noticed a difference between here and Charleston. I think I'm probably throwing a little bit harder overall here. I wouldn't contribute that to anything specifically besides the fact that, like, maybe later in the year, starting to warm up, I was starting to get more in a rhythm.
You're throwing a lot more curveballs, landing changeups for strikes more often. So the secondary pitches have been very more effective. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the biggest thing in usage, was throwing the curveball and the changeup more. But I think putting myself in those counts where I can do that and I can throw those pitches where it's like I don't have to be perfect. There's not so much pressure on it. And I think, like I said, those guys like Phoenix, even Ian, Gabe, Jake, kind of like threw their little 2 cents in, and I was able to take that and kind of run with it.
You were the co-pitcher of the month of July with Gastonia in 10 appearances, a .57 ERA, 5 walks to 18 strikeouts. Opponents hit just .064 against you. How do you feel during that month?
I felt good. Honestly, I didn't even really know that it was like all happening at, like how it was, because I was just so, I guess, caught up in just like each pitch, each outing, and the process of like, hey, getting better each day. And I think that's what this group of guys in Gastonia right now is we're all kind of doing as a whole. It's just like, hey, how can we get better each day? And, you know, the months and the season and however it all kind of takes care of itself.
Now, right now, Gastonia is going to host Charleston for 6 straight games. Could be more. Right now, if the season ended today, only 6 games left in the regular season, you guys would be playing Charleston in the postseason. The fact that you get to either play spoiler or perhaps take your old team out in the playoffs, does that mean a bit extra to you?
I mean, I think either way, like they have some. I'm still friends with some of those guys. They have some good players. Either way, you know, we're just trying. I don't even think about it like that, to be honest. I think we're just trying to take care of one game at a time. I know Goose is trying to win. So, like I said, whether we play them in the playoffs or not is like irrelevant.
In a situation where you move from one team to another in the same league, do you give info to, in this case, Goose and Brady about Charleston's game plans per se?
Oh, I haven't. I guess I could, but like I said, they've also, their scenery and their personnel has kind of changed a little bit as well. So I don't know how accurate I would be. I mean, there's some guys that, you know, I have opinions on and how maybe I can attack them and stuff like that that I've shared with, you know, our bullpen and some of our pitchers. But like as like addressing Goose or Brady, no, I haven't said much.
You work with Tread Athletics, based in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's remote training. Could you explain exactly what it is?
Yeah, so I mean, it's just like a training facility. Just like any other gym, I feel like, you know, they got guys who can help you take your game to the next level, whether it be, you know, in the gym, on the field, nutrition, all that kind of type of stuff. I live in Charlotte, so the remote aspect is kind of there, like during the season when I can't get in there as much and stuff like that. But during the off season and when I'm home, I try to get in there as much as I can, just because there's guys that I know and that I'm familiar with and that know me, and they're there to get players better. So
I know there are a few players that Brady and Goose look for at Tread to potentially get on the Gastonia team. What are connections that you've made with other players through Tread?
I mean, I honestly, I think that there's so many people that I've seen and interacted with in Tread that I've played against or, you know, ran into on the baseball field or whatever. And I think like having those connections is always good. Like I said, like Brady and Goose reaching out to them when, you know, when they need an arm or stuff like that. But like I said, there's so many people that use them as a resource, as a place to call home in the off season or whatever. So having them and meeting those people there is cool.
We have a segment on this podcast called Cool Connections, whether it's a household name or to someone who's meant a lot to you in your baseball journey. Is there any cool connection that you have made, whether it's in the Orioles system, the Angels system, anywhere?
The only one that's popping into my head is my friend Pavin Smith. He just had like that 3-homer game last night. So I don't know if like he was the best man at my wedding, like, but it's kind of cool. But just watching him do that, I'm trying to think who else.
No, that's a really cool one.
Yeah.
Did you grow up with Pavin?
Oh yeah, we're from the same. We went to the same high school. Like me, him, and JJ went to the same high school.
Nick, if you could make one rule change in baseball, what would it be?
I think I like the pitch clock. Kind of speeds up the game a little bit. Rule change. I'm trying to think, like, so the Savannah Bananas do like a bunch of crazy stuff. Maybe like if the fan catches a ball, like a foul ball, it's an out. I don't know how well that would stick, but because our hitters would probably get mad. But I think it'd be a little bit more fan interaction. So yeah, I guess maybe implementing that.
I was going to say, as a pitcher, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where I'm getting at, like, because they had a foul ball and the fan catches that, maybe it helped me out a little bit, you know.
Let me guess, you want to move the left field ball back to Caramel?
Oh, for sure. Move it back all the way like by the train tracks. Yeah, and just put some seats out there too. Maybe they could catch some balls and have it be an out.
Nick, you wear American flag socks every so often. Everyone in the clubhouse knows about it, talk about it. Where do you even get those socks from?
My wife actually got them for me. I don't know where we were at, but obviously I got them for July 4th and July. So I think that was the first outing I had in July was July 4th, and I just never took them off. I just kept, and obviously the month we talked about it, kind of the month of July I had, and I just kept kind of rocking with them, and I guess they're a staple. I didn't even realize people knew that I wear them. I just put them on, and it's my everyday outfit.
So I asked what you attribute the success to, and you couldn't even come up with the socks.
No,
that's the answer. The answer is the socks, Nick.
No, I don't know about that, though. I don't know about that. I mean, but yeah, it's kind of funny now that you say that because I've never really had, like I always wear like black socks, like just generic, and it's funny you notice that, so it's cool.
You're from Florida, but you're a Buffalo Bills fan. First of all, how'd that happen?
So my dad and his family is actually from Buffalo. So I think growing up, just the growing up at my grandparents' house, they were always watching, the Buffalo Sabres, Buffalo Bills. So I think just kind of adopting that. And I think I really wasn't, when I was a kid, I kind of wanted to be like different. So not growing up liking the Dolphins, I think, and that was just an easy one. The Bills, they were bad. So I was like maybe thinking, if they're good, no one will like the Bills. And I'll be I'll kind of hop on the bandwagon with them. So,
are there a lot of Dolphins fans in Jupiter?
Oh yeah, my feed went on Sundays, like my Instagram feed, everyone's at the games, Hurricanes fans, all that. So,
Josh Allen, pretty great game yesterday.
Oh yeah,
he's my pick to win MVP this year. I want to know what you think about that.
Oh, he's my pick to win MVP every year. I think he's. Did you watch the game?
I did.
So you saw him and what he kind of did. It's cool watching him do it. Like throwing, running, he's like I said, he's my MVP pick every year.
And now, Nick, I'm going to bring up a bit of a sour moment perhaps from earlier this season. You're with Charleston, facing Jake Gatewood, bases loaded, 7-7 game in the bottom of the ninth, and Gatewood hits a walk-off grand slam. How hard was it for you to face this Gastonia lineup?
Honestly, now that I kind of replayed in my head, and I didn't think it was like, and this is not a discredit to them. Like I just thought they were all good hitters, just like I think High Point's got good hitters and Charleston's got good hitters. I had pitched against. That was either my second or third time pitching against Gastonia, and I thought I did just fine. I ran into a little bit of trouble in Gatewood. What's he got, like 35 homers?
33 now.
Yeah,
still a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Either way, I think. He put it together, good at bat, and that's what good hitters do when bad pitches. So there's that.
Are you happy to be on this side of it now?
Oh, for sure. I think that was like when I got here, when I got to know him a little bit, someone said something about or I think it was Wiley said something about oh, congrats on 30 homers or something like that. And I was like, I jokingly said something to him. I was like, you're welcome for one of them. But like I said, he can hit the ball far and he's a pretty good player. So.
Goes back to the whole left field at Caramon Health Park.
That's exactly right. I don't know if that I think that's probably a home run at any park, but like I said, I'm sure he knew it right away, and I'm sure the 304 kind of helps that.
The Grand Slam happened as the Gastonia Gastronauts. Gastonia has tested out 7 potential team names. Do you have a favorite?
I kind of like the Garden Gnomes. The Garden Gnomes. I don't know if I like the color scheme. I think that when they were the Gastronauts, I like that one as well. I think the color scheme with the Gastronauts, I think is easier because I think, like I said, all the other uniforms had blue pants, red pants, green pants, and I think the Gastronauts was just a simple baseball look. So I like the Garden Gnomes, but Garden Gnomes with Gastronaut colors, I guess, if that makes sense.
Charleston story aside, what is the confidence level for you and for the clubhouse going forward as we head closer and closer to the postseason?
I think we're pretty confident. We're playing some good ball. I think when we pitch and we hit, I think, like I said, there's not very many people that. I mean, we're first place for a reason. We won, I don't know, close to 80 games. So like I said, when we do what, you know, we do, then I think we're a pretty good team.
What's the goal for you while you're here?
Just to finish the season strong, stay healthy, you know, and just see where, like I said, see where this next 2 weeks can take me, and we'll go from there.
Well, Nick, you've had a lot of success with Gastonia. Congratulations once again on winning Atlantic League Co-Pitcher of the month of July, and best of luck in these final couple weeks.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.